Welcome to episode 15 of my Let's Play Modded Minecraft series, Season 2. What am I doing? Well, as you can see in my hotbar, I'm building Wither, and hoping to not die while doing so. If you're wondering how I got the Wither skeleton skulls, by the way, I'll show you that shortly, but in short version is I captured a Wither skeleton in a safari net, and yeah, I'm not sure how far to run on this. Let's see how this goes. Cross your fingers. This sand should get really, well, should be exploded. There we go. Here with that. Yeah, that's me running. Just gotta get it to half health. Could be nice. As you can see, the blood magic ban armor is really helping. There we go. And you're dead. And I got another star. I wasn't getting what I was hoping to get though, which is the other part. And let me just turn the volume down because that was probably really loud. Hostile creatures. There we go. I wasn't getting what I was hoping to get, which was there's a slight chance of something called a Division Sigil too. There we go. There's a slight chance of say, dropping a Division Sigil, and you can get them from chests, but as in dungeon chests and such. But I was having problems with that approach. I haven't found a dungeon anywhere yet, or at least not a decent one with decent chests. I obviously found the stronghold where the end portal was, but I didn't get a Divination Sigil from there, and you can't craft them, which is again really annoying. So let's see if we can do that again. And I'm well away from my base, by the way. I just don't want the terrain destruction anywhere nearby. That's how much damage did that take off? I'm still at full. Band armor. So great. Much running. Even more running. It's kind of hard to commentate while you're shooting with it. But once you get them to half, Divination Sigil. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted. Yep. That's definitely what I wanted. And the nether stars, well, they're going to be useful too. Why? Well, one of the items we can use to get true flight instead of this air sigil thing, although air sigil is kind of fun, whoa, is, let's just actually see what the recipes are that you can make with this. Obviously a beacon, which we're going to need for tier 5 of blood magic. Nether star generators, those are huge amounts of power. Angel ring, this is the one we want, but we also need unstable ingots, and we can't make those because we don't have a Divination Sigil. Hence, Divination Sigil, and there's multiple versions of them. They're really kind of cool. Portal spawners too, that's just to move spawners around, so if you want to pick one up and then put it down somewhere else, you will lose this, by the way, so that is using up another star. Ludicrous block, I've not looked into big reactors too much, but I'm assuming that is some kind of overpowered block. No catalyst, not looked into witchery yet. Alchemic chemistry, I've made a chemistry set and I'll show you that maybe soon. But that particular recipe is for the better version of the activation crystal to make even more awesome rituals. So that's what we can use nether stars for, at least in the recipe list. What we can also do with them, and this is something that's yeah, maybe I should just use one for this, just to show you. We've used all these other things like golden apples and diamond blocks to add modifiers, but you can also do that with nether stars. One last modifier, and I'm not sure what modifier I'm going to put on that yet. Probably looting. I think I've got enough damage already on this thing. I shouldn't need any more really from quartz, and it's probably also if limit basically reduction. What's the word? I've lost the word. Basically, reduced benefits the more that you add to it. So yeah, I've forgotten what the word is for that, but here we go. So down here down at my mine, and here I've just created a simple auto spawner, just like we did with the witches. Again, chicken powered portable tank and a portable energy cell, and all we do is just flip this, and I want my cleaver. It may well run out of essence. It uses quite a lot of essence in the exact copy mode, and if you didn't use exact copy mode, it would just make any random skeleton, because skeletons and wither skeletons are the same thing, they just have different metadata, I believe. So that's you draining. You draining. Ah, there we go. And I got the withering. Great. But I did also get a wither skeleton skull. So that's that. And you can use that same principle for pretty much any mob. It doesn't have to be wither skeletons. Obviously not for the wither, you have to create something a little bit better for the wither. And we are going to come to that. But to do that, I'm going to need to make wither-proof blocks. And I can't do that just yet. Mainly because, well, there's a few ways to make wither-proof blocks. One is to compress cobblestone. So, you know, the stone that you normally get, you compress it over and over and over, and that just means combining 9 of it in a crafting grid. That gets one singly compressed cobblestone, and then you craft 9 of that, and then put 9 into doubly, then 9 of that into triple. Yeah. By the time you get to septuple, which is 7 times compressed, that's the actual cobblestone you need, and that needs many, many, many thousands. You can imagine. You know, 9 by 9 by 9 by 9, etc. So by the time it gets to the end of that, yeah, you're using a lot. And then you've got to make enough of it to make a room. So you can imagine. The other way of doing it is using Thorncraft. And in Thorncraft, you can ward blocks, and they are also witherproof. As you can see here, this is just collecting some essence. It's probably out of power or nearly so. Yeah, it's using up chickens at a rate just to kill them to get the essence. So I can create more wither skeletons and more wither skeleton skulls. So that's that. Next is the Division Sigil. Now, Division Sigil, sorry. Division Sigil? Yeah, that's blood magic. Division Sigil. Now, it's inactive by default. And to make it active, we've got to do something at midnight. And to do that, I think I'm going to need a few things. I could do with a Silk Touch shovel, which needs enchanting. So before we get to anything else, let's just do enchanting. I'm just going to drop my stuff back in here. Yeah, I've got these miniature yellow hearts. They're very useful for adding extra. If you look at the bottom left, you can use them to create extra hearts for yourself. But that needs necrotic bones, which is what wither skeletons drop. So I may well also use a nether star to add looting to the beheader, just so that I get more of its default stuff in addition to the head. Let's just drop you in here for now. So, enchanting. What options do we have? Well, we can make a default enchanting table. That's okay. But it requires a kind of weird thing whereby I'm going to need 30 levels on me of XP and use it up each time. But there's a better way than that. You can use, well, there's two different things. There's one is the Ender IO Enchanter, which is a way of combining, I believe it's items with levels on you. So it's still the same thing as the enchantment table, but slightly different. But then we've got Auto Enchanter, and the Auto Enchanter is much better. So I think we're going to go for that one. Start with, in fact, hang on, no, not an Auto Enchanter. Auto Enchantment Table, there we go, the Open Blocks version. This you feed in XP, and remember that drum I've been filling with XP? Well, this is why. 2 diamonds, 4 obsidian, and a book, so let's grab a book. And diamonds. Now 5 iron and 3 redstone, which is very, very cheap. I'm also going to need some pressurized fluid conduits. And I always seem to miss where this stuff is. Ah, there it is. And I'm also going to need that XP drum, which I think is in here. Yes, I've got a full one. I'm filling up another one. And I'm also going to need a tank, actually. There you go. That's for another purpose. So as you may or may not know, I've just expanded this room a little bit. As you may or may not know, enchanting is a pretty good system in Minecraft. Drop that there. The idea of this is you can select the level, say 30, and you need, yeah, that's just configuring inputs and outputs. You need to add liquid XP in here. Now, the easiest way to do that is just with a drum. We can export it. But you also may want, for other reasons, the ability to use this XP as well. So add it back to yourself, as opposed to the drain that we've got over there. So in order to do that, let's just dig things up a little bit. So what we're going to do is, I think, I do want to be able to change the drum occasionally, but I don't need to be able to see it to do that. So yeah. Let's just put the drum there for now. The idea is, if I just put a tank here, I actually want to replace the stuff behind it because I can see through it sometimes. Yes, I'm a bit picky, sorry. So the idea is that this will fill up from there once I set it to output. This is kind of like a reserve tank, so let me just remove the rest. The one underneath here we can configure and say go insert only, and we're going to configure this guy, say insert only, and then we're going to link them all up. That's that done. Now, well, obviously I'll cover this up later. All I needed to do now is extract this. always active, and that should fill up this tank. And should, when I configure this, it's this one. If you right click, yeah, there you go, right click and hold, and click on the shift click, auto drink maybe. It's been a while since I've done it. Should be working. Ah, okay, it's just the slider. That's fine. Yeah, now as you see, it says max level 8. It's saying that because of well, the lack of bookshelves. If you're used to a default enchanting table, you get bookshelves. So by the way this works is you just left click or right click. There we go. You can add levels to yourself like that, which I don't really want. So I can set up another drain in there, by the way, just to drain into that drum and have it loop around. But yeah, I'll do that off camera. It's straightforward, same thing kind of thing as this. So I need bookshelves, but bookshelves aren't going to really fit in that room too well, and it's a bit cramped. I'm going to use one of our new mods to do this. Now, if I grab the Lexica, in here there is a item, and I've got to find it. Pylon of some kind. Mana pylon, is that the one? Yes, there we go. Yeah, mana pylon. So 2 mana steel, 2 mana diamond, 2 gold per mana pylon. We need 2 of them, so that's 4 of each, and 2 diamonds. So let's get the diamonds first, and gold. And mana steel. Yeah, I actually have enough. I need to make those mana diamonds. There we go. What I haven't tested, however, is if these mana pylons can take the place of bookshelves here for this, because that would be kind of cool. Can do that. So if I just put one here, and one here, shouldn't matter. That should let me do 30. Not saying so. It's possible it doesn't work with the auto enchantment table, and it's only going to work with the. That's unfortunate if it is. It's going to work with the default one. I hope not. Let's give it a try. Let's just get a book. In fact, no, let's get. Yeah, a book's fine. Can't use any of the Tinker's Construct stuff because that has it disabled, if I remember rightly. So if I grab a book, that's not working. See if I also drop that to 8. Yeah, see, there it is, protection 1. Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would work. Oh well, I don't really want to use the default enchantment table, so I'm going to have to make more bookshelves. Very annoying. But hey, I'm sure I'll use them for something else. Let's just grab you. And you. $11 bookshelves. I'm actually going to need 15, I think. There we go. And unfortunately, get rid of you. I don't want to. Okay, why you no work? Oh no, wait, there it is. Max level 14. Maybe it's just filling now. No, it's corresponding to the number of bookshelves I've got. Pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13. That really should let me do all 30. There's plenty of XP in there. Excuse me. Alright, I'll investigate and be right. In fact, let's just try get back down. Fine, I'll come right back. It's entirely possible this is a vanilla mechanic, and it seems to be accurate, but it doesn't seem to count the bookshelves if they're right next to it. That's kind of annoying. So I may move this all one back, just so this whole thing fits into the alcove, but here I can get up to max level 27, and what I'm actually looking for, of course, is Silk Touch, so we could get lucky with this, we might not be lucky, so if I make a few of these. It should be possible to get it with the Golden Shoal. The other way of doing this is with Ender.io, and I may well show that as well, because that's actually somewhat simpler. See what comes out of this. Should be working. So still not receiving the liquid XP. Yeah, I always have problems with these. Definitely on insert mode. And definitely set to auto drink. Try it with a tank on it. So get rid of you temporarily and put you there. Right, that's really not liking that either. This is a very strange one. It turns out it's related to VSync. If you have VSync off, you can't select the side that you actually want the enchantment table to drink from. Is the bottom. See this? That doesn't turn red. That's very, very annoying. I have no idea why that happens, but this is a current version of the mod, so if you're using it around the date this is done, then you'll know. But if I'm going to put this in here, and then, yeah, that's efficiency 4, fortune 3, not what I was looking for. Let's bump that up, see if what I get with the next one. Efficiency 4, not what I want again. What will I get with some books? Flame 1, nope. Looting 2, nope. Action 3, again, not what I'm looking for. Running out of storage space. We'll rip all of these off, of course. Protection 3, Aqua Affinity, no. Sharpness 3, that's kind of useful, but no. Do I have any books left? I'm running out of books. Fine. What I'm looking for is Silk Touch, but this is a way to actually get anything you want. Probably best on a shovel anyway, so if I do manage to get it on a shovel, come once I'm finished. And a few shovels later, Silk Touch shovel. Now we'll rip that off the shovel later, I don't need it permanently. What I do actually want, however, is to make a few things. So I want, let's get rid of you. We need nuggets, actually, not ingots, so let's grab some of those. And the golden lasso. Very useful tool for grabbing a mob, and that's what we're actually going to be looking for. Is any passive mob, I think. Grab one of these. It's obscured. Other ball one around somewhere. Have I got everything else I need? No, I don't. I need some redstone. Grab you. And where did I put the divination? I really did leave it at my base. Excuse me. There it is. What I don't know is what time it is at night. Basically need to wait till midnight, but I can set this up in the meantime. Unless it's already past midnight. Let's see. Want a bit of an open area. Where's my axe? Lumber axes are amazing. So the way this works is we need. Oh, it's glowing now. Oh, too late maybe. Let's see. Put the enchantment table down. Ring it with redstone. Then we want to let the mob go and then sacrifice it. Oh, and it has to be able to see the moon. Ah, oh, hello. Just that one, is it? And of course it stopped glowing. Let's wait till for another day. Great. Okay, let's try again. There we go. That's more like what I was expecting. I do actually want some of this earth though. Don't need much of it. And let's just kill lots of things. They will keep spawning, man, you, so just be aware of that. I guess this is one way to get a lot of stuff. But mainly we're just after the earth, which is a bit of a fight. Way. Yeah, getting lots of XP at least. Now, the main thing is we've got the deactivated sigil. That really is the main thing. But wow, 3 of you. The fact we've got this as well is really useful for generic mob farms, and at some point that's going to be worthwhile. I've got to get out of here. I've got enough earth, I think. Is in my inventory, isn't it? I'll make sure it's not being pulled along by my magnet first. I'll get rid of you, you, you. Ah, yes, it is in my inventory. Okay, so now we can head home and leave those behind. By the way, it won't last. In the daytime, that cursed earth will decay into regular earth and cause fires, so I'm going to come back during daytime and just put the fires out, but that doesn't need to be on camera, of course. Main thing is we've got the activated sigil. That'll let us make unstable ingots, which we're going to use in the next episode to create some items. So this episode has been largely Enchanting, Divination Sigil, and Wither. Once again, thanks for watching. This has been Great Esther, signing off, and thanks for watching.